Hi, welcome to the next video in Model 2. In this video, we are going to discuss about the introduction to Java. That means we are starting the Java language. Very first topic in Java is first we need to know the history and evolution of Java. Then what is the basic thing, the bytecode in Java. So in this video, we are going to discuss these two topics. Let us go to the topic. The first one is history and evolution of Java. So we know that the Java is an object-oriented language, and most of the characters and most of the features are derived from C++. But we need to analyze the previous languages of which are derived and what kind of features is derived from derived for Java and what kind of feature is not available in Java. Like that, we have to have a quick analysis about its previous languages with Java. So Java is most related to C++, and C++ is the direct descendant of C. We know that. And much of the characters are derived from these two languages. What kind of characters are what kind of features are derived from these two languages means from C, Java derives its syntax. From C++, Java derives its many of the object-oriented features, right? So the theoretical object-oriented features are derived from C++, and the basic syntax, characteristics, and styles are derived from C. So these two features are exactly coming up with the Java, and before the invention of C, what kind of the features and what kind of the problems arises in programming field means before the C we know that Fortran, COBOL, and basics are the programming languages derived, and after this Fortran, COBOL, and basics only, C is another one important and most used programming languages, which has the features of structured and efficient and high level languages, with the features of ease of use versus power, safety versus efficiency, and rigidity versus extensibility. But Fortran would be a efficient program, but it was not good for the system code. Then Basic was very easy to learn, but it is also powerful. But when programming in structure wise, it is not having that much feature, so it's a lack of structures. And these kind of basic COBOL and Fortran were not designed around its structure principles. And coming to Pascal, it is also a structure, but it is not designed for the efficiency, and it cannot have the certain features to implement your programs in a wide range way. And this use of structured languages used to write and first time moderately complex programs fare easily. That is what the intention of going for an object-oriented programming. This concept has started in the year of 1980s. So the origin of Java means it is exactly developed at the year of 1991 by the author called as James Gosling. So he is the author. He developed the Java, but initially it is named as Vogue. Okay, so why it is named as Vogue means that James Gosling, the author of this language, very much interested on that, very much peculiar on the oak tree. So that is what it is named as oak. And this Java language is developed and released from the Sun Microsystems initially. Why Java is important? What is the need of? What is the primary motivation of Java means? Main is portability and security. The two words we can tell that Java is more important. Portability. What is meant by portability? Like in C and C++ languages are not portable because they are not platform independent. And security, they are not providing that much security because nowadays we need to interact with the world wide web, we need to interact with the other systems, we need to interact with the remote systems. So when we are interacting with other devices and other systems, it should be more secure. So this portability and security is not available and it's not that much implemented in the previous languages of C and C++. That is the main reason the Java, with this intention only, the Java languages was developed. And the history. Mainly first, the James Gosling is the author, and he developed the Java language from the Sun Microsystem. And who is the co-founder means Vinod Khosla. The first version of Java Development Kit, JDK, is nothing but Java Development Kit. JDK 1.0 was developed in the year of 1996 at the January. Then 1.1 is released February 1997. Within the next year, that one more version is developed. Likewise, for every 1 years, one versions of JDK were released. Then they move on to Java Development Standard Kits. So we'll see there are 3 different types of editions are available in Java. So those are named as J2SE, J2ME, and J2EE. I think so you might have heard this kind of words. What is the expansion of this J2SE? J2SE is nothing but Java 2 Standard Edition. What is the primary focus and what is the motive of this edition means? It is used to develop the client-side standalone applications or applets. Okay, so it is mainly used for client-side applications or applets. Applets are nothing but Windows applets. I will tell the applets in details in next models. J2ME, Java 2 Micro Edition. It is mainly used to develop an application for mobile devices. And J2EE, it is Java 2 Enterprise Edition. It is mainly used to develop server-side applications such as Java servers and Java server pages. It is mainly used to interact with the World Wide Web for the internet connections. So likewise, with 3 different variations of motivation, these 3 editions of Java is now developed and it is now used in many of the users. Then the next topic is Java's magic, the bytecode. What is bytecode? Why it is called as Java's magic means Java bytecode is the root factor of why this Java becomes more popular. Without the Java bytecode concept, it will not, I hope so, it will not be that much big popular one. Because of bytecode concept, bytecode feature only, this Java can able to attain all the features of and it can able to stand in nowadays in competing and trending world also, right? What is meant by bytecode, ma'am? Bytecode is a highly optimized set of instructions designed to be executed by Java runtime system. What is the Java runtime system then? Java runtime system is nothing but Java virtual machine, that is nothing but JVM. JVM is a one virtual machine. With the help of JVM, you can able to execute your Java program at any system. Only thing is you need to have JVM. If the JVM is installed in your system, it may be any operating system. If you can implement the Java coding in Macintosh operating system, you can implement in Windows, you can implement in Apple, and you can implement in other operating systems also, Linux. Also you can implement. Likewise, the bytecode is a highly optimized set of instruction. Mainly it is used to execute in any of JVM, right? So the Java program is executed by JVM with, to solve the major problems associated with the main of web-based programs. And how the bytecode works. The translating the bytecodes, it's very easy to run a program in variety of environments, right? That is what JVM will be differ from platform to platform. That is what this Java language is called as a architectural neutral language. We'll see with one example diagram here. This is my Java program. With the help of Java compiler, I am compiling. After the successful compilation, what you will get, one class file will be generated. What it contains? It contains is nothing but bytecode. So class file is enough. That class file is enough to execute your Java program in any of operating systems. See here, with the help of JVM, with the help of Java, class file, you can implement that. Yes, with the help of JVM and with the help of Classfile, you can implement the Java programming in any of the operating systems. Here's 3 examples of operating systems are given. Those are nothing but Windows, Linux, and Mac. So likewise, with the help of only JVM and Classfile, you can implement and you can execute any kind of Java programs. Next, another one diagram or explanation is given like how this Java virtual machines inside its work. This is my Java file with the extension of .java. With the help of Java compiler, I'll get one class file. Class file contains the bytecode. This class file will be given to the Java virtual machine. Inside the Java machine, there are some steps are followed. What are those means? With the help of that class file will be given to the class loader. Then bytecode verifier is there. It will verify the corresponding bytecodes in the class file. After that, Java runtime system will be there. It will be given to the native OS. Native OS is nothing but either it may be a Windows OS, it may be a Linux OS, or it may be a Macintosh, or it may be a Apple. So many things and etc. So likewise, if you take one Java bytecode, first the Java file will be compiled. After that, class file will be given to the Java virtual machine with the help of class loader and bytecode verifier. This will be converted into corresponding outputs with the help of native OS. Fine. I hope so. The diagram is very easy and easy to understand. Next, that is what with the help of Java JVM only it makes more secure, and the programs which are written inside the Java will be more secure, and it will not be generating any side effects outside of the system. And yes, although Java was designed as an interpreted language, there is nothing about the Java that prevents on-fly compilation of bytecode into native code. That is what Java Sun Microsystem begins one technology called a hotspot. What is the meaning of hotspot? Means it provides a just-in compiler for bytecode. Right? Instead of JavaC compiler, it provides JIT compiler. So when a JIT compiler is a part of JVM, the selected portion of bytecode are compiled into executable code in real time. That is a piece by piece and demand pieces. This is another advanced feature of Java. That means with the help of hotspots technology, it is just-in compiler has been developed. What is the differences between Java compiler and just-in JIT compiler? Means JIT compiler will be compiling a selected portion of bytecode, right? So another one diagram is given. What happens in the compile time and what happens in the runtime. So Java source file will be given to the compiler. It will be converted into class file. This is done at the compile time. After that, at runtime, it is given to the JIT compiler. So only the particular portion of that code will be compiled and it will be converted as a native code. Right? I hope so you are clear with this idea. I will catch you in the next video about next topic. Thank you.